Oh, man.
All right, so there's our indicator.
We've had worse. It's been worse.
That was wild.
Honestly, I don't think I could take much more. Well, thanks, everyone. This has been emotional. And I'm good.
Hi, I'm Emily.
And I'm Hayley.
After meeting online, we became international best friends who bonded over how hard it is to find success in the entertainment industry.
Join us and our celebrity co-authors as they help us write the book on how to make it.
And, more importantly, uncover what making it even means.
Hello, I'm Tim Downie, and I wanted to be a magician when I grew up.
Oh, yay.
Yes.
Yay.
Love it. Wasn't an actor.
No.
Excellent. Tell us more, Tim.
Absolutely not.
Please tell us more.
Well, it was, to be honest with you, this was a multitudinous kind of thing. It wasn't just a magician. No. I also wanted to be a mountaineer. And if I could combine these things in some way, then I would have been that would have been the dream job. I'm doing magic in the mountains. I don't know who for, but there's some sort of mystical craziness that I could be doing out there. Helping people herd sheep, maybe. I don't know. Solving crime through magic in the mountains. I mean, it's got TV series written all over it. Now I realize that. But it was that thing. I think what it all boils down to is that sense of otherness. I think I just wanted to be anywhere else rather than where I was at that particular time growing up, which is not to say it was bad. It wasn't that bad. It was just exceedingly dull. And I think that dullness, then breeds a sense that you have to find the worlds within, or through the works of like Ray Harryhausen and Tarzan. It was whatever it was on like 4 channels when I was growing up. It's that sense. And so, someone who was like exploring, or mountains, or magicians, just something like that would have been magnificent.
And what happened to that dream? Where did it go?
It died. It died, sadly. No, it didn't. It didn't. I think what it does is it morphed and it manifests. And it basically, what I've realized in later life is what I was actually describing there was a very famous magician who was also a mountaineer, but he was an occult magician. And I was thinking, yeah, that's basically what I was doing there. Was like I was becoming an occult magician whilst running up the mountains looking for yetis. Is essentially what I wanted to do. There isn't much call for it. I've discovered.
Mm-hmm.
Very little job openings for that kind of work.
Yeah.
It's not really a thing you can approach someone with. What are your qualifications? Wizard.
Did you develop
okay.
any of those magic skills though, Tim?
No, absolutely none. But what I have developed is a sense of wonder. So in other words, if I see someone doing a magic trick, and there's certain people that say, oh, I'm going to say how this is done. I think this is done like this, or I think this is done like that. I have absolutely no desire whatsoever. Just mystify me. Mystify me. I want to believe the glamour. I want to believe all of it. I'll just go with it. I'm the worst person to be obviously in some sort of like crime board game scenario. One of those people, just completely, no, I haven't been paying any attention whatsoever. Look at the magic. Look at it. Isn't it amazing?
Well, this is a great segue into our next section. Thumbs up for segue. Which is telling you 3 facts that we found out about you on the internet. And I learned, and I'm going to butcher this, I learned...
I'm excited.
...that you have your own action figure for a game called Baldur's Gate?
Here we go.
Baldur's...
Yes, that's...
Baldur's Gate.
Boulders.
Which, when I Googled what that was, the first automatic fill-in was, why is it so hard?
Yes.
So I'll let you expand on that.
It's where do we even begin with this? Okay, so I am not a gamer in any way. I might play Ludo or maybe Monopoly at Christmas, but halfway through that I'll get annoyed and then we'll wander off and have cake or something. That's about my speed. So Baldur's Gate is it's an RPG. It's a role-player game. If you were to play it as one person going through the entire game from beginning to end, it would take you something in the region of about 70 hours.
No.
Just as one person. But this is Dungeons and Dragons. So this is a party of people. There are 6 main party members. You can make your own member to be part of that group. And then you have all the different permutations. So we had to record all the different things that would happen. So not only would you do, someone walks into a bar and says, I need an orc to fight. So you would then do all the responses, which is, I don't know any orcs. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not the person you want. You would do about 6 or 7 different permutations for every single piece of dialogue that would come your way. So the world is infinite. It is one of the most extraordinary pieces of art that you are ever likely to see, because it is so immersive. It's like the most immersive thing that I've ever been involved in. Because usually art is quite passive. If you're watching a film, you watch it play out in front of you. If you watch it, listen to a piece of music, you do the same thing. Or even look at sculpture or art. It's you onto it and it plays out, but it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And is a set amount of time. This, you could be in the middle of a battle and decide you've had enough of a battle. I'm going to go and have a chat with someone. And you could wander off and just go and sit with someone and have a chat. And all of that's been recorded in the most hidden, secret, bizarre little places that you can possibly think of. And you can stay there for an hour if you want to. And then you can decide maybe you'll go back to the battle and see if it's over. And if it's over, you'll just carry on. Or you can join into the battle. I mean, it's mind-boggling. I don't even know how anybody begins to write such an extraordinary thing. But that is Baldur's Gate. What I'm excited about is there's an action figure, because that's amazing. That's exactly what I'm in the market for. action figures of me. Amazing.
That's when you've made it.
That's exactly when you've made it. And actually, you've made it, and this is a segue, but you absolutely know when you've made it when you get an action figure of yourself and it actually looks like you.
That's the dream.
That's the dream.
I do have a story about that. I had a friend, this is going to be very vague because I don't want to get anyone in trouble, but I had a friend working at a theme park, and there was a big actor who was in a movie developed by the parent company, got his own action figure, went to see it in the store, had a complete meltdown at what it looked like, and had them remove all of them from the store. It's a pretty huge actor, so I'm just going to let everyone decide which person they want it to be.
Wow.
But you won't have that problem, Tim.
Mm-mm.
I won't have that problem because I just don't have that kind of sway. So we just gloss over that, and that's fine. And I'm fine with that. I'm absolutely fine with that. I'm just glad that someone made the effort.
Tim, man, there's going to be some people who keep that thing boxed
Oh God.
in their attic for years in the hope that it's worth something.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to live in the hope that it gets older as I remain youthful. That's going to be my wish. Let me tell you.
Are your kids going to buy them? Well, are you going to get them for your kids?
You do realise that my kids can never see this game. It's quite raunchy.
Oh,
It's quite raunchy in places.
Is it?
Honestly, it really is.
Haley's gonna buy it now.
Is it?
Google it, Haley. Is it?
Is it?
Yeah,
Interesting.
it certainly has its moments. It's yeah.
Wow. Moving on. I was going to try and kind of move it on naturally, but it kind of does it. So this past holiday season, Tim, for this fact, yeah, Emily was slightly obsessed with this. You went caroling with underwear on your head.
Yeah, I did do that.
Explain,
please.
please.
I did do that. That was for. So I'm an ambassador for a kids charity called the Flying Seagull Project, who are absolutely extraordinary in the work they do. They do an enormous amount of work with refugee children in refugee camps. So at the moment they are in, I think, Bulgaria as well as Greece. And these are dealing with Syrian kids, Palestinian kids that have all been displaced Africa and wherever there is trouble or wherever these camps are. And they will go and they will spread smiles and laughter and try and give these children whose worlds have been ripped apart a moment of joy and a moment of play and of just fun and silliness and wonder and magic and just something that is not the realities of where they are. And I just think that's one of the most extraordinary, humane things that I could possibly think of, is to give that gift of joy. And whatever that is worth, it is worth multitudes just to give that those moments of happiness. And so one of the things they did was a Dare to Care. And so I was dared to sing a Christmas carol in the busiest place I could find, which was Portobello Road in West London, and do it with my pants on my head. Now, I'm full of bravado straight away, like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm well up for that kind of thing. And then when the reality hits of something like that, I just become incredibly English, like, oh my God, this is terribly awkward. Someone's going to watch. Well, obviously it's the middle of a street. I know, but oh God, no, this is too much. And so, so it was more nerve-wracking than I actually gave it credit for at the beginning. But yes, that is the reason why I was wearing flamingo underwear on my head.
Love it. Can we just shout out that charity again, Tim, the Flying Seagull Project?
The Flying Seagull Project, yes. So Please go look at their website, see what they do. They do extraordinary, amazing things.
My third fact off of the internet. You bake the most incredible birthday cakes, Tim. I've seen evidence over the years.
Thank you.
Like, where did this skill come from?
I was forced into it. I'll be honest with you. I was forced into it. So I'm not particularly a cook. And then it was my first daughter's birthday. I think she was like 3 or something like that. And it was always that thing of, well, do we buy a cake or do you make one? And it's like, no, it'll be wonderful memory. Imagine the memories that you will create. Dad made my cake. It'll be magnificent. I've never made a cake. I don't really know how to make a cake. It'll be fine. You're a bit arty. Don't threaten me like that again. Just because I'm slightly arty doesn't mean I can do this. It doesn't mean that I want to be the one that stands up in a room. I don't necessarily want to do any of this, nor can I draw. But anyway, here we are. This is where we are, people. So anyway, I made this cake, which was quite a hot mess, but actually very enjoyable. It's like a kind of unicorn vomit thing. It was unbelievable. Went down an absolute storm. Marvelous. Thought to myself, right, done. I've done my thing. Forgetting I have a second child, and therefore I then need to do that again for a second time. So then I did that. And then as the years have progressed, because I only do it for birthdays, it's not like I bake a lot. I cook a lot, but I don't necessarily bake a lot. But you do get a bit, I really should get better at this. No, I should start. And suddenly you get a little bit detailed about these things. I made a moon at one point, and I got very into that, making craters, shading it, creating planets, things like that. I went all in. It literally took forever, but you also feel like you're one of those contestants on Bake Off that pulls out some muffins and go, well, these are fucking ruined. And then they leave. And you really feel that's who you are. That's who you've become. You're pulling out this kind of, tray of tweels or something. They go, well, this is just shit. I don't want to give this to anyone. Oh God, feed this to a child. You try to kill them. Get a lot of that. Get a lot of pent up baking rage. But then when it's right, everybody loves a baker. It's like everyone loves a florist, even at a funeral. You're not going to be like, oh God, the florist is here. You're never going to do that. You're going to be, oh, thank God the florist is here. Much like you'd say, oh, the cake man is here. This is better. This is a nice thing. So
yeah.
My dad one year made a cake, and I liked it because it was my dad had made it. But I remember like we were driving home from somewhere, and this was, before cell phones, so we didn't have fair warning of what we were walking into in the kitchen, and the cake was sideways. I know that's kind of in now, but it was like. It just, and then as we're singing happy birthday, it just slowly starts moving down the table. But I listen, maybe my parents will tell me that I'm remembering the story wrong, but I was just delighted that my dad did that for me.
Exactly.
You know?
That's it. Tim's like, no, that sounds shit.
Yeah.
No, do it again.
No.
You're weak.
But I just like, I thought I was probably like 6. I just thought it was super cute that my dad made me a cake, even if it was moving on its own, you know?
That's half the magic and we're back to magic and wonder again. This cake, my cake, is moving on its own.
No one ever gets mad when the Mountaineer magician shows up. So
no one does.
This is true.
Unless he's double parked and has forgotten most of his tricks for the kids' party. Then they get annoyed.
Segue.
Go on, Emily. Go.
So that's what I'm going to start doing. I'm just going to start saying segue. So
I love it.
I have a couple questions.
Sidebar. That was the phrase, wasn't it? Sidebar.
Mm-hmm. I have a couple of questions for you. Very important questions. The first one is, are you concerned that you were born in the wrong time period? Because I've noticed many of the things that you've been a part of are just based completely in another time. And you can really pull off a pair of knickers. So I'm just wondering, like, what your thoughts are
Thank you.
on that whole situation.
I would say yes, almost without a doubt. I'm not good with technology. It doesn't really sit with me. I'm very keen on penicillin, so I don't think I'd go that far back. So that sense of healthcare, I'm okay with. But in general, like for instance, I'll give you a for instance. I'm not a hat person. No, don't get me wrong. I love a hat. I could put a hat on, but if I put on any other hat that isn't a top hat, I look like a nut. And I think that just tells you everything you kind of need to know. Like I need the height. There's something about a top hat that goes, yeah, that really suits you, but you can't wear that. It's not an everyday thing. Can't wear that just on a local commute. Be like, oh, what? Don't sit near him. Don't sit near him. He's still wearing a mask. He's got a top hat on. That kind of thing.
The Paddington hat looked great.
Magnificent. And I have it. I still have.
No, you
Wow.
don't.
The Paddington hat, which is, yes, I do. Yes, I do. So imagine when it came to, like kids show and tell, and your parents come in, and you've got doctors and lawyers and all these kind of like adult things. And what do? Dentists, vets. In comes this, whatever this is, and says, what do? You just basically dress up and do silly voices. That's what I do. But who'd like to wear Paddington's hat? Biggest fan in the room. Don't have to do anything else. Let's have photos. Let's put the hat on. Magnificent.
My daughter made me message you from the cinema when we watched Paddington because she couldn't believe that I had any kind of connection with you because you were like the most famous person in her head. It was incredible. Those movies are great. They're
fantastic, aren't they? They're just brilliant. I mean, it was so much fun to make. And there's a picture that my mother found that when I said I was in Paddington, she said, "Oh, let me find this." And it could have gone very badly wrong, but it was actually a picture of me under my Paddington bedspread with my Paddington curtains when I was 5.
Amazing.
So it was a really lovely.
I do have a
circle.
I have a controversial take, though.
Oh, Emily, don't.
I'm so sorry.
Don't do this. Whatever you're going to do.
Listen, I thought Paddington was going to be cuter than he was in the movie. I was like, oh, I can't watch this because I'm going to want to buy a Paddington stuffed animal. I don't know, because he was like kind of a grown man, but he was supposed to be. So anyway, I'm so sorry.
It's got a whole backstory.
I'm sorry. He looked like a real bear, and I was expecting more of a Winnie the Pooh vibe,
So more like a kind of Who Framed Roger Rabbit kind of thing, where it's just a drawn character.
Did you see Christopher
interacting with Bob Hoskins?
Did you see Christopher Robin, the live action Winnie the Pooh? He was like, he was the old fashioned Winnie the Pooh, but like it looked real. It wasn't a cartoon, and so I was expecting more of like a I don't know, Puss in Boots moment.
Yeah.
But I'm so sorry. That's
okay.
I mean, I'm going to have to really rethink this partnership.
This is really escalated. quite know what to do now.
In comparison, my favourite scene in Paddington is when Paddington has the earbuds in, the Q-tips, as you would call them, Emily.
Yes.
And then with all the wax. I love the grey stuff. So I'm down with less cute Paddington.
Well, the score was amazing. So...
The score.
Yes.
Emily doesn't have children.
Good. It was very good.
What do you mean?
It was
this has
very
nothing to do
good.
with me having children. It was I loved the movie. I just was like, oh, that's Paddington. We're going for like a real bear look. Okay. Anyway, moving on. I'm going to take a sharp left turn and ask you. Oh boy, I'm sweating even more now. So I'll say my question and then I have a little bit of a background of why I'm asking it. So as an actor, how do you feel about or not even feel about, but deal with the insane focus that we put on like awards and accolades? Like we spoke to a singer-songwriter who talked about, you know, everything's measured in streams and how many followers you have and, you know, if something went viral or not. And, you know, we just here in the States had the Golden Globes and people are either super into it or think it's totally outdated and depressing. So I'm just wondering, like, what your thoughts are on how you kind of measure success and what that marker is for you. And maybe it is views on something, but just kind of what your take is on that.
I think it all boils down to money and awards for me. Mm-hmm. As much money as possible and as many awards as possible, then that's extraordinary. I think it's you know, it'll be lovely to get an award, of course, but I don't think it's a marker of whether something is good or not, because art is subjective. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, and what some person likes, you know, it's that whole kind of Dances with Wolves, Goodfellas thing. That, you know, the year that Dances with Wolves beat Goodfellas, and you think, well, that's now you would look back on that thinking, really, Goodfellas lost to Dances with Wolves that nobody probably ever watches.
God, my mum loved Dances with Wolves.
I enjoyed it very much at the time, all 5 hours of it. But now, looking back, you go, yeah, Goodfellas it's a better film. So there's
pretty good.
You know, the markers that are all mixed up, but also having so much that is streamed and noted and numbered and awarded, you've lost the idea of like the cult album or the cult film. Just doesn't exist anymore. The idea of like a Shawshank Redemption happening again is incredibly small. Like the word of mouth hit that will just kind of happen, that will drift away and come back, and suddenly this is it. Or even like The Office. The Office, when it first came out, was a flop. It was on a really bad time, and it was the second run, which was on like a Thursday night, the best kind of comedy viewing time, and suddenly it's a big hit. Whereas with streamers, you're not going to get that, because something else comes in, something bigger and glossier and more exciting. And so these little programs will be lost, these little gems, these little things that we would adore and quote and just love, I think will drift away. What shape that takes in the future, I've got no idea. But I think those, because we all have our own personal things which we adore. They might be awful to somebody else, but we all just go, no, this is amazing because I saw it at this particular point. I saw it with my parents, or you know, I remember this particular day it was raining and I'd just come back from school, or I'd come back from school early and I put on Labyrinth, or I did this, and that's why I love watching Labyrinth, or that's why I like watching Indiana Jones, or that's why I like watching some bizarre Ray Harryhausen stop motion thing where a T-Rex scratches his nose that most people go, I've got no interest. But you know, those hidden things, curation, I think that's the thing. We've lost curation. And when I was growing up, there was a great movie series called Moviedrome, which is on BBC Two's every Friday night. And there was a cult film director, Alex Cox, who directed a film called Repro Man with Emilio Estevez. That was kind of his big film at the time. But he would curate movies, cult movies. So he would literally kind of say, right, this is David Lynch, Eraserhead. And I don't know if you've ever heard of David Lynch and Eraserhead, but this is who he is, this is where he's from, this is all the background that you need to know about this auteur of a director that you would never really come across living in a village in the middle of Hertfordshire. You would never be open to these things. And here is a Japanese samurai film, and this is why I like this. And here they are. And you lose that, like that sense of, like, the algorithms now will say, do you like watching things with cats?
Oh, yeah.
Here are more things with cats.
Yeah.
Rather than, you like watching things with cats, here's some dogs. You don't get anything mixed or birds or something. It's funny that it doesn't mix it up, because that's the joy of discovery.
Yeah, I was listening to an interview recently with Bill Hader, and he had a show called Documentary Now with Fred Armisen, and he was saying, it's very strange, it's very quirky, it's very out there, and so they had 1 or 2 seasons and it ended, and he says now people come up to him and they're like, they've discovered it after the fact, and they're like, oh, I love this so much. And he's like, it would have been really great if you could have said that while it was on. It's like people are able to discover things with streaming, but at the same time, there's so much noise now that it's like, how are you heard over that noise?
Yeah, very much. Very, very much. And I think it's tricky, especially for the small maker, the small creative, to get heard within that massive white noise that's there. It's going to be interesting to see how it evolves. We're kind of at a peak of it and trying to work out what it is and how best to use it. So I think in the next sort of 10 years, it's going to be interesting to see how it smooths out, how the edges get taken off it in whatever way, and how it evolves, or other platforms suddenly pop up that curate those things, those desires for that.
Yeah, it's a strange paradox, because it creates more opportunity in a way, because there's never been more stuff being made, but at the same time it kind of it's restrictive as well, because there's no direct channel to audiences. It's very strange. But you've got a real eye in the things that you sorry, go on, you go. And then you go, then I'll go.
I've completely forgotten. I'll come back.
Damn it, god damn it.
And it was brilliant as well. It was absolutely brilliant.
It'll be loads better than what I was going to bloody say.
It's gone.
You've got a real eye for those culty things, though, because like things like Toast of London, I feel that was like a buildy, and that was bloody hilarious. And also Hapless started as the Jewish Inquirer, right? It was that way around.
That's right. Yeah. Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Like, that's got a bit of a cult following now. I think you've got an eye for
those. It's coming to the US soon, I think. Hapless.
It is. Yes, it is.
Okay, good.
It is. Yes. Yeah, very soon. Peacock.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I just want to put that out there so that people know that. I'm going to take a sip of my juice box.
Emily's got a juice box out again. Here she is.
Go on, Haley.
Here she is. What's your preference? Screen versus theatre? Because you do it all. You do everything. You're an amazing writer, amazing actor. You do it all. You do the voice stuff. You do everything. You do film, TV.
Should we rattle off the stats? May or may not be correct.
Yeah, go.
Okay, these might be
the stats.
These might be wrong.
Go on.
Having said all that stuff about algorithms, let's hear some stats. Yes, let's hear some stats.
Well, down to Emily on the field with the stats. Sports. Okay. So according to Wikipedia, asterisks on the truth of this, you've been in 5 plays, 40 television shows, and 19 films.
That sounds about right, I think.
Back to you, Haley.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing a lot. He's a busy boy. If you had to choose, would you go down the theatre route or the screen route? Because they're very different beings, aren't they?
They are. They're really different beings. I think I would do screen work, because that was my sort of gateway drug into the world of acting, was watching films. There was a kid at school when I was just in upper school, we would call it. So I was about, I don't know, 16, 17, something like that. And I remember saying to this guy who was in like the 6th form, "Oh, I want to be an actor." And he said, "Oh, have you heard of Martin Scorsese?" I was like, "Nope, don't know what that is."
What?
What is that? Is it okay? Well, have you heard of David Cronenberg? Nope, don't know what it is. Okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. And this is again back to the idea of curation. He said, I'll lend you some VHSs of films that I think will be good to see. If you want to be an actor, you should see these films. And so that became my education, from literally kind of sitting watching what my dad would watch, which was anything that was made in color was like, I'm not watching that much. I'm only going to watch films made from between like 1945 and 1952. That's it. Everything else is awful. So I never really watched any sort of modern films. And then suddenly I was watching, Scanners and Raging Bull and all of these extraordinary films, Eraserhead and Blue Velvet, Thin Blue Line, the Errol Morris documentary, which is amazing. Suddenly all of these things, which was like kid in a candy store going, oh my God, this is extraordinary. This is amazing. Acting is not just this one thing. It is multitudinous again. It is so much and so rich and so varied. And, being an actor isn't like one thing. It can be this, or it could be this, or it could be mixtures of this. And you could be good at one thing, but not good at another. And that's fine. You don't have to be amazing at everything. You can be good at what you do. And that was revelatory to kind of discover that you didn't have to be all things to all people all of the time. You could do what you like or what you thought was good. And that was quite eye-opening to kind of discover that, because I would, sit with some of my friends and put on Blue Velvet and I would go, this is one of the greatest films I think I've ever seen in my entire life. It's amazing. And the soundtrack is weird and it's strange and dirty and just otherworldly. And mates of mine would go, this is awful. I want to watch Raiders of the Lost Ark again, which is still an amazing film, but a very different thing. And then it suddenly realizes, it isn't just one track. There's so much to it. So that was quite a learning curve in my early formative years. And I think I've definitely taken that and gone, oh, okay, right. Okay, well, then I'll pick and I can choose. What am I good at? But then that comes with its own thing. I can remember there's a great line in Amadeus. And Salieri's talking to Mozart and he says, why does God provoke the desire yet deny the talent? And I think that is such an extraordinary line, is that sometimes our want to be able to do something. I would love to be a magician, but my skill as a magician is pretty much zero. And so maybe I should ignore my calling as a magician and go and do something else that perhaps I'm more suited to. It's that thing. And it's being aware of your skill set as well as the desire that you have. It's not changing the dream. It's not saying, well, my dream's dead now. My dream of magicianship is dead. It's no, you can still be creative. It might take a different route to get, but with the same end, but with a slightly different flavor to it. So, yeah, that was quite an interesting discovery.
No, absolutely. I think people struggle with that as well, especially if they're going down the kind of drama school route into acting and you're expected to kind of do everything and you learn everything and you have to be good at everything. I think it's quite hard for graduates to kind of come out of that. I think drama school's less of a thing in the US, Emily.
Oh, not at all.
But you still have the Juilliard stuff, and I don't really know the landscape over there.
It's pretty big here. At least, well, I was a theater kid from, kindergarten through high school. So like I guess maybe I'm more aware of it, but it's a lot of kids I went to high school with ended up going to Tisch at NYU or USC for acting. I mean, there's definitely ones that are like renowned for it. But it's pretty big over here.
Yeah, but I think a good course should kind of help you discover what you're good at rather than having to be a jack of all trades, maybe.
No, I was just going to say, and help bring that out, just be able to draw it out would be fascinating. Like when I was at drama school, they just didn't do it. And I was, funny, like naturally funny. And I enjoyed being funny and really kind of lent into it and found real, sort of happiness in doing those kind of roles. But it was seen as like, you can't do that because that's not acting. That's just being a jester or being a joker. That's not acting. Acting is Brecht. Acting is Chekhov. Acting is Shakespeare. Acting is serious. And so I think there's that hangover, is that you're either a serious actor or you're a comedian. And it's like, well, that's not it. Like, making someone laugh is an extraordinary skill, and it's difficult. It is a tricky, difficult thing. The skill of comedy is a very difficult one. Like, you cannot teach it. I have sat in a room with one person in particular, and it's only, I'm not picking on this one person, but it was so obvious that this person just isn't, you're just not funny. There's just nothing about you.
Was it me?
That is funny. I'm so sorry, but I'm so sorry. But I'm so sorry we had to do the segue. Yes, it was. No. But it's the hardest thing in the world to watch someone just kill something that you go, this is funny. I've seen lots of people do this to varying degrees, but this is by far and above the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. It hasn't even gone back around where it's funny. Ironically.
Oh, that's sad.
It's just terrible. You've got no timing. It's like you don't like me. All of these. It was an incredible experience to witness it. So I think they should value that and that skill set, or whatever your skill set is, but really kind of push it. Like, don't push that poor guy into comedy. He does not want to do a sitcom. Let's put him in the National.
That's it. Nobody does it all.
No.
Does anybody do it all?
No.
Meryl Streep.
Yeah, you got a point, actually. Yeah, Meryl Streep can do it all.
Okay, moving on. Fuck that one, didn't I? So, Tim, I'm quite interested to hear which one should I go for? I want to hear the worst piece of advice you've ever been given.
Oh, God, where to start?
Like the absolute worst.
The absolute worst. The worst piece of advice that I've ever been given. There's just so many that kind of build up. Like that scene in The Simpsons where there's so many diseases trying to get through the door to attack Mr. Burns that nothing can get through. I feel like I'm there. I feel like I've had so many bad pieces of advice career-wise. There's just multitudinous. There are so many of just like, you should go and do that. That's a really good thing. And then you get there and it's dreadful. Or I remember signing up to do a film. Script was amazing. And you go, this is great. Okay, yes, I will absolutely do that. And you get on set and realize the director has never even seen a camera before. And you think, I should have asked about that. That was bad. Someone should have really done something about it. And consequently, the film is a terrible, shocking piece of cinema that should never see the light of day ever again. But the script is really good, but it's just shot really badly. So there's so many little bits. It's like getting on set and suddenly working with someone again, like we were saying before about the guy who can't do comedy, of going, we've got nothing here. But there's just, I don't know what it is, but we're not in rhythm. We're not in sync. It's not happening. That's always the worst thing. It's usually the worst thing when it's literally at that moment when everyone goes, okay, everyone, and now we're running up, and that's when you're screwed at that particular moment.
I'm going to flip it then and say, so what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
The best piece of advice, or one of the best pieces of advice, is, and it's really simple, but it's incredibly difficult to do, is just be you and do what you like. That's really simple. You kind of go, okay, I can do that. I'm doing it now. But then to actually put that into a work environment is really difficult, especially the business we are in, where it's that sense of, I want to please. And you can be pulled and pulled and pulled. And suddenly you get to that point of an action and go, I have no idea what I'm actually doing. I'm just saying words. I'm saying words and standing in the right place. So they're getting it, but I'm not connected to it in any way because I've just been pulled from pillar to post. So being able to do the thing that you want to do. Oh, actually, another great piece of advice is the power to say no, which is massive for a young actor, because all you want to do is say yes to things, because all you want to do is work. All you want to do is work. Your self-worth is gauged by the fact of, are you an actor? Yes, I am. Have you done any acting? That's not what you asked. You asked if I was, you don't want to get into that conversation because you haven't acted for however long or whatever the thing may be. So the power to say no is incredibly important. And then it goes back to knowing yourself and knowing what you want to do, which then goes back to what you were saying, Hayley, about choosing things that are slightly culty. Is I just try and choose things that I would just like to watch and be in. And if I have the option, then I will just go with that. And I will go on my instinct more than 99% of the time. If I read it and I like it, I'll go with it without much more thought to it than that. If there's a kind of a pull, then great. And so consequently, I've enjoyed nearly everything I've done just because it's been fun. And you get different things from different things. The production may be awful, but you meet people. And you might meet that one person that will then spiral off onto something else. There's always something to be had from whatever job that you are in. But go with your instinct and go with your gut and do things you like. That's why we do the job. We don't do the job to sit and be an accountant all day. We do the job for variety and for fun and just craziness, putting on silly wigs and doing silly voices. That's why I got into this business. The wigs and the voices, possibly the shoes.
I mean, like a big part of what I do on set is about trying to get actors to say no and identify when they're kind of hitting the diva complex, where they're worried about being a diva on set. So it's really good to kind of hear you talk about the power of no, because I think it's very rare that a director or a producer sits there and goes, "Oh, that person said no to me. Oh my God, they will never work again."
No, I don't think it does. And it's such a powerful thing to do, but also incredibly hard, because you've got peer pressure and you've got time constraints. You've got all of these things. And also it's mixed in with that sense of self as well. It's like, well, I define myself by the work I do, I am an actor. So therefore that's so much part of my DNA. And I want to do it, and all of these things, but to be able to say, no, I just don't want to. And almost to that point, I don't have to give you a reason. I don't want to do it. I don't like it.
It's a boundary. It's there.
I'm not comfortable with it. I don't like it. It's unnecessary, or whatever the thing may be. But just being, nope, that's it. And I don't really want to go into it anymore.
It's so interesting because Hayley, I was just talking to you about how often I'm getting no'd. So I love that people are able to say no, but if they could say it like one notch less, that would be cool. Maybe do some more fun stuff. That was a joke. So our whole premise here is sharing stories of things that have happened on and off set or in whatever area of the entertainment industry we're in, that we're like, wait a second, this is ridiculous, but I'm like doing it because I want, to have a career. So, I have a story of we had a producer who had like a weird fear of kale. He just thought it should be.
Wasn't expecting that.
I know. Me neither. He at one point he said he thought it should be illegal. It was this whole thing. He also didn't like puns either, but that's a separate issue. So when we would be ordering lunch, I remember I first got on this job and I'm like, I'm going to send out the menu. And then my other PAs were like, oh, make sure you do the edited version for this producer. And I was like, what? And they're like, we have to remove all instances of kale from all menus so that we can order from this restaurant. And he doesn't know that they serve kale. There was one restaurant that did all puns. So we did have to remove the puns from the menu too. Anyway, and in that moment, I'm like, you take like 5 seconds and you're like, okay, because you want, I'm like, I want to get to the next level. So this is all a long-winded way of saying is, have you had an instance in your career that you can think of where you were doing something or you saw something or someone said something to you where you're just like, I'm here because I want to continue my career and this is kind of ridiculous what's happening?
Yes, there's been like lots of different strange. Like, there's obviously a lot of casting horror stories. Like, I remember one, which was this was like one of the very first castings I ever went to out of drama school, and it was for like some advert for in Holland. I mean, I should have bells should have rung. It's a Dutch commercial. Okay, and it was this kind of strange thing where someone had to be in their underwear, and I had a large syringe, and it was quite comical and strange. And the woman I was going in with was in a latex nurse's outfit.
Nah.
Like something from Anne Summers. It was like, I don't understand what this is. I thought this was okay. This is odd. But again, those casting room things where you think, okay, I'll just go with it. I'll go with it. I'll do it. And then you walk away going, that was very icky. I didn't enjoy that. That was not very pleasant. And then I remember one in particular, which was a TV job I did. And again, it was quite young still. And they said, okay, so you're ready for the fight scene. I was like, yeah, but it's fine. It's fine. We'll do something. Don't worry about it. Great. So what we're going to do is, it's a bit cold. This is January in Liverpool. It's a bit cold. So what we're going to do is we will make sure the ice is broken off the lake before you get in. And I said, sorry? Yeah, because there's some rewrites, but the fight now is you're walking along this rope bridge. One of those ones like that. One of those rope bridges.
Amazing.
Okay. And then you'll meet in the middle.
Great bit of miming there.
Thank you. Thank you. Multi-talented. You can see why I've got the action figure.
Absolutely.
And then you'll meet in the middle, and then you'll have a bit of a scuffle. And I said, isn't that quite difficult once you're holding on? Because you will... Anyway, doesn't matter. It's technical. Don't stop asking drama school questions. Just do the job. And you'll have a fight, and then you'll fall into the lake, but the ice will be gone. So don't you worry about that. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. A few questions. No, don't worry about it. It's fine. But you're full of questions, but you think, I can't do that. I'm like 19, 20 years old. I can't start saying, hang on. This is all a bit, you worry about these people have done this before. So, and I haven't. So I'm sure this is all fine. It's all absolutely fine. What could possibly go wrong? So anyway, we do the take. We come up. Skirmish, fall into the river. And what we hadn't taken into account is not only the ice, but the livestock that were also around the banks of this river. And so consequently, the river was just a sea of
Oh.
And it was like, it was vile.
It always comes back to poop on this podcast.
Always comes back to poop. In most things in life. And also what had happened as well is I don't know if it was a coagulation of cow effluent or just silt, but our feet were just getting stuck and we were sinking as the water was then rising. We'd have to pull our feet out and then go up, and then it would just gradually sink and pull out. And then the next part of this was, okay, whilst the boys are there, they're probably a bit cold, but whilst they're there, what you could do, this is the opening of the next bit. So if you could just bob down under the water and just wait till the bubbles stop and then come up, that would be amazing. And you go, I'm sorry. This is a joke. You're with me, aren't you? You're all in on this. This is hilarious. So, okay. So we held hands in this icy river covered in bobbed down, thought, okay, we'll give it a quick little bob. We couldn't see each other. It was that thick.
Oh my God.
It was that solid. And then we kind of burst out. And then we're supposed to then grab to the bank and then scrabble to the bank. I kid you not. I was so cold, that when I took my shoes off and socks, I walked back across this field that was just full of bracken. Didn't feel a thing.
Oh.
Didn't feel a thing. Was pulling thorns out of my feet. When I got back, I was like, literally can't feel a thing. I think I'm going to get frostbite. I think it's going to be quite bad. And then consequently, which is kind of the darker side to this, I actually got quite ill. I think I did get like mild hypothermia or something like that.
Oh God.
But the production company actually came round to my house to make sure I was ill and I wasn't just faking it.
Ah.
But Tim, have you ever had to edit kale out of a menu?
Do you know what? No. And that's beyond. That is beyond. I was especially taken as well, can I just say, by the fact that there was a restaurant full of puns. I love this. You were shooting in Clown Town, where this restaurant is full of puns.
Next time you're in Burbank, the whole menu is puns. But
that's insane.
To go back to your story, it sounded like when you came out of the water with the poop, it was probably like that scene in Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
Where he comes out of the... Did you feel...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt. It was such a sort of visceral, emotive moment. It became like an instant hard memory.
Yeah.
Like I can see the riverbank, I can see the lives, I can see everything, and I can. They say that you can't remember pain, but I can. There's a moment of pain where I'm pretty damn sure. Like I'm feeling cold already. Like it's the magician in me. I'm feeling cold just even thinking about this. It was so terrible. It was so awful. So yeah, there we go.
Was it worth it?
Absolutely not. It was awful. The whole thing was dreadful. I mean, I was okay. Don't get me wrong. I gave a good performance considering I couldn't feel my feet and I was getting dropsy. But apart from that, all was fine.
Imagine if it was all for like a McDonald's commercial or something.
Oh, goodness me. I've had to do eating things, talking of McDonald's, I've had to do eating things where they just keep feeding you with to make something look perfect or for the shot they need. And you'll just keep eating and then into a bucket. And then the bucket is the worst thing you've ever seen in your life. It's just, could someone empty it? Because it's piled now. I know you're all busy, but now I'm just sitting with just a pile of my own vomit next to me. Like a student. This is terrible.
Students?
Where did you go to school?
Oh dear.
Just a regular English comprehensive. That's a regular Thursday.
That's it. Sausage and mash in a bucket on the floor.
Exactly. Be grateful. Get out of my sight.
That's it. I'm still stuck on the poo story because I'm imagining like early Tim Downie, the curtains when you used to have like the 90s, 2000s curtains just full of. Like, I hope they looked after your hair.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that would be important.
Oh, the whole thing was dreadful. I was very heavily influenced by DiCaprio in Titanic during that period. I think a lot of men of my age was certainly influenced by Jack in that. I think it's a very little known, very very little spoken about. I think thing. You know, most people talk about the Rachel Aniston cut, but I think for the men it was definitely the DiCaprio curtains. It kind of hangs down. There was like little Think DiCaprio in Titanic and the way his hair kind of does that and it kind of stops
like
there.
The British Office.
Think of that, but with a little bit of lift.
Oh wow.
Yes, like Gareth. Think of Gareth, but with a little bit more oomph.
Wow.
Yeah. Important.
I'm glad we cleared that up.
Important conversations, right here.
Important stuff. Wow, I'm glad that's the bit that's going to go viral.
That's
wait.
I'm gonna hit you with a really important one, Tim. So it's the kicker. So what is your definition of making it?
Okay, now I have thought, and genuinely I've thought long and hard about this and gone back and forth with so many different things. And then almost when I was not thinking about it, honestly, it's a pleasure. I didn't just want to say, I don't know, dolls or something, nice pair of shoes. Didn't want to say that. Didn't want to be so flippant. And then I was thinking, what is it? And it sort of suddenly came to me. And I think for me, this is it. It's walking into a room, any room where there's like a group of people and not minding being there. Because the thing is, every actor dreads the question that follows, what do you do? I'm an actor. And it's followed by two questions after that. Have I seen you in anything? And what are you doing now? And I think if you can walk into a room and not fear the fact that these questions will come, then you've made it. Because I don't know any actor that enjoys walking into a room because they know that's going to come, especially a room of people they don't know. All of that thing, because it's so heavily weighed on, well, what are you doing? You're not an actor if you're not doing it right now, when I'm asking you this question. If you're not doing it right now, then you're not doing it. It's such a difficult thing. So I think if you can walk into a room and just be absolutely comfortable with being in the room, and when the question comes, you can answer it, you've made it, my friend. You've absolutely made it.
When you say you can answer it, do you mean you don't? I'm thinking there's two different versions. One is like you don't care what the reaction is, or you have something that you're currently working on, so you have something to pull from.
Yeah, or absolutely. And also the third option, which is you are comfortable within yourself and your work and what you've done, and you're standing in your own body and in your own placement of where that is, that you don't mind being asked. Because we spend so much of our lives just on tenterhooks of being, am I doing enough? Am I not doing enough? Have I achieved enough? My marker is this other person. I know it shouldn't be, but it kind of is, and that's annoying. And they're doing this, and I wish I'd have got that, or all of these things. But if you can walk into that room and just be, yep, you can ask me that, and I'll tell you that, and that's fine. Whether I'm working, whether I'm not working, it doesn't matter. That would be good either way. But it's just being able to deal with that question and it just not faze you.
I like that a lot.
I do. I'm trying to think of a development of that, but I don't think there is one. I think you've just hit it on the head. For actors, anyway.
Thank you.
That is a really well thought out version of that. Well done, Tim.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
You win the podcast.
That's it, then we're done.
We figured it out, so
wrap it up, and here's the award.
It's going to be a pretty short book, Emily, this.
I know.
Isn't it?
Yeah, we're retiring. We figured out how to make it.
Chapter 5.
Yeah, it's so interesting because it's kind of what I was saying before with the awards and accolades and streams and whatever. And I saw something the other day where a woman just, this was on Instagram. She was like, in 100 years, someone else is going to own all your stuff. Maybe someone will remember who you were. We're here for a finite time. I'm taking this real deep, but it's so true. Like, even with people who we revere as the best of the best in whatever industry, sports, whatever, is there will come a time period where people are like, oh yeah, that person who was around, so long ago. And so, yeah, it really just becomes about what was my experience on Earth like, rather than how many people were able to immediately rattle off stuff they remembered me from or whatever.
Yeah. No, I think it's incredibly important, and it's incredibly difficult as well, as we're so hardwired to kind of go, well, this is a contemporary, and I should be here or here or here. Mm-hmm. When there are so many people that just say, you run your race. If we were sports people, and you're running the 100 meters, that's what the greatest coaches in the world will say. You don't race someone, you race yourself. You run your race, and you run your race as best as you possibly can, and that's your best. That's how you do it. Because if you keep an eye on, if you worry too much about the other person, you get out of sync.
Yeah,
you're not racing to the best of your ability. You're striving for something else, and it isn't quite right. But it is hard. It's incredibly difficult to do.
It's very hard, especially with the invention of the iPhone and the internet in your pocket all the time. But with that and
this is it, and ratings on IMDb, very difficult.
Oh my God,
very
that is the least helpful thing in the world, isn't it?
I have gotten, I don't know what's going on the last 3 days, because I have a page, because I've, films I've worked on and shows. IMDb has been emailing me twice a day for the last 3 or 4 days being like, do you want to up your number? And I'm like, what? What did they do? A recent sweep where they're like, we got to get some random people's numbers up. I'm like, why would I be concerned with what my rating on IMDb is? I don't.
Yeah.
That does not interest me.
It feels a bit like, when Twitter or Instagram do a sweep to get rid of bots. It's almost like IMDb have said, we've just done a bit of a sweep. We've done a bit of a sweep over the top 20, 30,000, and there's a couple of bots in there that we didn't realize were actually actors. So we've cleaned that out for you. So we've got a lot of room for you to come in and fill. A lot of AI. There's a lot of AI in there. Someone called Bert Harrison. It's not even real. So we've got rid of that.
Oh, I love the idea of Bert Harrison. There he is.
Well,
Bert Harrison, AI.
Haley, what was the name that I was transcribing our last episode and Haley said f***ing brilliant, and AI thought she said, hold on 1 second.
Something to do with butter.
She said it was Tim Butter. So now Tim Butter, I really want to find who Tim Butter is. But yeah, AI mistook your f***ing brilliant for Tim Butter. AI extraordinaire.
There's a character for you, Tim.
Tim Butter. There
you go. This is it. AI can't say brilliant, and it can't do hands, so it's useless.
Isn't that like a really crucial thing that it can't do? The hands.
Yeah.
I don't like.
But then it's gonna become our overlord after that. You wait. You won't be able to go anywhere. You're gonna have hands
Once
like this.
Opposable thumb.
But it'll be able to tell you. It'll be able to tell you your personality problems.
Oh boy.
Oh, the secret's in the hands.
Secret's in the hands. As soon as they get that, we're
yeah, that's it.
Opposable thumbs.
It's game over, people.
So, Tim, do you have if you had to pick a chapter title to sum up your career journey thus far, what would that chapter title be? Again,
I've thought long and hard about this.
Yes.
You kind of go all the kind of poetical routes. You kind of think, yeah, that would be amazing. And then you think, no, that makes you sound like an absolute prick. So then you go the other way and think, maybe that's it. And then I've landed on what I think is an important thing that really kind of cements the artistic world. And so the chapter will be called, Please Tell Me the Catering's Good.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God.
It's so important.
I really think it is unbelievably important, Haley.
Oh.
You can tell the programs that have had absolutely shocking catering. Everyone looks forward to catering on a set. And when it's a disappointment, that's your afternoon gone. People don't care.
Hell.
People get irate and annoyed.
Me and my producing partner, Rosie, talk about this all the time, like how important the catering is. It is the death of any show. It is the death.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. If you get breakfast wrong, you'd forget it. Forget it.
Oh, and you know what? When I moved from theatre into TV and film, I didn't realise the importance of catering at first, and hell did I get taught very quickly.
Oh.
I did not realise. Because in theatre, they don't care.
No, absolutely not. Go and get an M&S sandwich. You know, that's the limit. Get a meal deal at Boots.
Yeah.
These are just words for you.
I was like, what?
What is he saying? What are these words doing together?
This is the opposite of usual. Usually it's me just like completely confused by Americans. So you can have it this week, Emily.
You know what? On the count of 3, everyone say aluminum.
Unbelievable. Although technically, actually, funnily enough, I heard that because aluminium is an American invention, we should actually call it aluminum, because it's your word coming this way rather than the entirety of your language coming the other way.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Do we let them have that one?
I think so. There is a great SNL sketch of George Washington talking to his troops, and he's discussing what will now be American compared to what will be English. And it's things like, we will take out the U from words like color for no reason, but we will keep it in glamour.
Well, I have to say an M&M sandwich sounds delicious. So if that's
M&S, not an M&M. An M&M sandwich sounds disgusting.
Not really. With some Fluffernutter. You guys have Fluffernutter? No.
No, that's just a noise.
For what now?
That's just a noise.
Sounds British. It's marshmallow filling, but you like spread it on a sandwich with some peanut butter. M&Ms? No. I just added the M&Ms. Anyway.
Wow.
No, that's fine though. That sounds great for you.
Thank you.
That you have that.
I added the M&M as a vegetable. I added that in.
Oh. So there's been more miming also in this episode than any other. There's been a lot of visuals.
It's not just an audio medium.
Not after I get my hands on the footage.
It'll be nice when it's just cut together going, Tim moved his arms. Much to signal like a 19th century pirate going up a rigging.
Oh boy.
I can't breathe. I'm just composing myself.
Okay, thank you.
I can't even remember what you typed.
The title is about, please, the catering.
Please tell me the catering's good.
How could you forget
all
that?
About catering.
I know. Oh, it's so sad. It's so sad when the catering's
You got sick once, didn't you, Haley, from cater?
Oh my God.
I remember this day.
Oh, Tim.
Did you really? What happened?
Bad, man. It was a really long shoot day and it was into the night. And then they brought out these sandwiches, but nobody could eat the sandwiches because we were all still shooting. So the sandwiches kind of sat there for a few hours. And then, and it was like tuna and stuff like that. And it just felt like a bad move. But I was feeling, I was just feeling like I could risk it. I was really hungry and I'd missed lunch because I was doing meetings over lunch. So I risked a tuna sandwich and it was the worst decision one of the worst decisions of my life because it knocked me out for a good week. It completely screwed me. All for a really bad tuna sandwich. And I knew, didn't I, Emily? I was going to say, speaking to you about
Tim
it.
was talking about sensory memory before. I remember standing in Warner Brothers in Warner Village and getting this text from you that you were like dying from a tuna sandwich.
And the catering on that should have been good. They need to do better.
Yeah.
Hard hitting stuff.
It wrong foots you. I've been on big productions where one of my first thoughts, or like you go, it's an American production. Oh, well, they're going to have craft services. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be incredible. And you get there and what is this? And I've actually known whole departments to boycott the catering on certain productions. It's been that bad, which just sends shockwaves through cast. When you hear that kind of thing, you think, oh, no, this is not good. I've got an emotional scene on Thursday. And you're saying that the ravioli's bad. It's not what you want. I can't eat this. The fork stands up in it. We're miles away from anywhere. There's no Deliveroo.
What is Deliveroo?
Oh, God.
Oh, you don't have Deliveroo.
It sounds like
it's like
a kangaroo that delivers your food.
It's exactly that. Yeah, it's a marsupial with a helmet that we have trained to drive very low cc motor vehicles. No, it's like Uber Eats. You have Uber Eats.
Yes,
Same
it's the same
thing.
It's the same.
Wonderful.
Same thing.
Segue.
I mean, I'm trying to round it off, but like this went to a very strange place. Which I'm enjoying.
You're welcome.
Doesn't it?
You're welcome.
I mean, I expected nothing more of you, or less, huh? But yes, it's been insightful, Tim.
That's what we aim for.
Absolutely.
Good catering and insights. Yes. Rivers of shit. A good catering.
Yeah. This is going to help Emily write her little roundup for the episode.
I've been thinking of it this whole time. I'm pointing to my brain because that's where Wow. I'm still nervous about my take on Paddington, though, to be honest. I hope I don't get canceled. It wasn't the film, it was just the bear. I'm going to stop talking.
Yeah.
Don't double down. You're doubling down. Just honestly.
Okay.
So hang on just one second, because if bad catering is the fourth circle of hell. Another fact that we uncovered about you, Tim, was that you believe the fourth circle of hell to be Squishmallow Monopoly.
Oh,
I have to agree with you, my friend. My God.
Honestly, I have never seen. Let me give you. I'm going to give you some background to this, so you get a fuller picture of it. So we started playing Monopoly with my two kids, and the youngest one. We usually, if we do like a gaming thing on a Sunday, it's usually question based. She doesn't do that well, bless her, because it's questions. It's a 7-year-old is not going to be able to answer who was the Prime Minister in 1945, even though she should.
Should I?
But when it came to Monopoly, I suddenly realised what I was witnessing was the birth of someone discovering capitalism.
Oh my God!
And actually, what it can do. And so she just went around and just destroyed us, put factories on things within 2 or 3 goes, like literally built everything to the max that you could possibly wish. And then one of the things with the Squishmallow one is you get like a little Squishmallow with a top hat that you get to keep. And if you roll a double, you get to keep that. And then it ups your chances. She basically never let that thing go. It was literally like being in hell. She would laugh and dance around as we were saying, we've got no money, but we have to sell everything. Sell it then. Why don't you sell it? And it became like, wow, I don't know. I don't think I like this. It just ballooned. Most of us were in tears. I was certainly in tears by the end of it. It got too much. It kind of just peaked and peaked. Became really good fun, and then really did not become fun at all. Just darkness descended. It was quite something, I can tell you. It was like Dickensian London. It was very much like Scrooge McDuck. That's what I started calling her. I started calling her Scrooge McDuck. She didn't get the reference, but I enjoyed it immensely.
Did she go to bed happy or sad about the situation?
She was in tears.
Yeah,
it got too much for her.
thing.
Just as soon as it honestly, it just got too much. She was bouncing around. She was so excited. She had more money than she knew what to do with. It destroyed her.
We've all been there.
Wow, what a lesson to learn in an evening.
What a lesson. What a lesson. Just after Christmas as well. You'd think you'd be happy, but no. Unbelievable.
Wow.
So yeah, deadly. Absolutely deadly. So yeah, beware the Squishmallow Monopoly. And also the dangers of capitalism, blah, blah, blah. But it's the Squishmallows that will get you.
It is. It's because they're so cute. They lure you into a false sense of security.
I know I'm drifting again. Where did they even come from?
I have no idea, but they're the bane of my life.
They're just suddenly, they're everywhere. Like baby babies.
I babysit for 3 girls, and it is, you can't not be stepping on a Squishmallow at any. And they're like, I'm like, what is this one? And they're like, oh, it's a boba one, but then this one's a bubble tea one, but then this one is just regular lemonade. And I'm like, there's so many varieties, and I don't understand. They multiply kind of in the night when you're not looking, I think, like Gremlin style.
Oh, yeah.
Like Gremlins.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Maybe it's the fact that I'm getting older where you don't notice these kind of trends, but that's one of them where you just think, how is this everywhere?
They sell them in pharmacies. Yes.
Do they really? That's honestly, this is the end of days, my friends. This is the end of days.
Kill them with water. Kill them with water.
Do they burst into flame when you... Yeah, it's like pick up your drugs and then buy a Squishmallows shaped like French fries. Yeah.
God, I'm sorry to bring it all down like that, but...
Thank you so much, Tim.
It's been therapeutic.
I've loved it. I've loved having you on. You're a little legend.
Oh, thank you both. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. Lovely. I don't know what. Should we cut it there?